Hey, hey,
What is up, everybody?
welcome
Welcome, my what?
hey, my crypto comics compatriots is what I was gonna say.
Is everybody your compatriot? Anybody that
Yes,
watches? So
anybody that
automatic.
watches.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
See, you don't have to like and subscribe. You just gotta watch. But we really, really, really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It
So,
really does help us out, guys.
so let's see. Today we are going to be talking about crossovers.
Oh,
So I think that'll be kind of fun, kind of cool.
and we
Um,
got some good ones for you.
yeah. So first of all, to explain what a crossover is, it's essentially when somebody brings characters from different comic series or different publishers or different universes
Either a
together.
publication or a different title.
hmm so some of the reasons the crossovers happen is going to be like to promote sales of different universes or different ideas, different properties. So just to boost
Okay,
sales like that.
let's face it, sales, it really comes down to sales. When your sales start to slump, if you're Marvel, you put Wolverine in it. Okay, if you're DC, you put Batman in it. Like that's just how it has to go.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when DC starts to slump or Marvel starts to slump?
Well, you just said they add Batman or they add.
Yes, but I'm saying if DC as a company starts to drop in sales, you add Wolverine.
You just said that.
If DC does, you add Wolverine. Or if Marvel does, you add Batman.
Yeah.
It's the Marvel DC crossover.
hmm So, anyways, we're going to talk about some of the different crossovers that have happened. And what we were going to do is kind of do this as we've done previous shows where we just kind of both come up with a list. But I figured that wouldn't be nearly fun enough because Matt's automatically just going to choose stuff that everybody's heard of already. So,
No, I wasn't.
yeah, every time. So, rather than everything being DC, as always, Matt is going
Oh,
to do
please.
Matt is going to do some, I believe, that are more, I guess, some more non-apologetic crossovers. While I'm going to drop the fun stuff.
Hey, I got one for you. All right, let me kick this off with the very first crossover ever, and it was by Marvel. Came out in June of 1940. It was Marvel Mystery Comics #8. It was Namor versus the very first Human Torch.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the first time that anybody ever actually decided, like, hey, I like that character. Let's bring him over.
Okay, that's a weird one. I mean, most people don't even know about that one.
Yeah, and you said I'd only pick ones that people know about. So, yeah, right there, buddy. Right there.
All right, I got something for you. Archie versus Predator. Now look, I'm
Oh,
I'm telling you guys, I'm only gonna bring you ones that are worth reading at this point, and of course, Archie versus Predator is gonna be a great one.
you know, there's just something about Jughead going against the Predator. I love it.
I
It's
think
one of those series that shouldn't ever exist, but thank God it does.
why would you say this shouldn't exist? We should have a
It's
crossover of every
Archie.
creator, every IP against Predator.
Oh boy.
No?
You know,
All right. What's your
he
next?
says this now, but when Care Bears shows up, it's gonna be like, oh boy.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Care Bears versus Predator. I like it.
Okay. So I got the first major team book that started out with, the various individual comics. You have All Star Comics issue 3, which was the formation of the Justice Society, which really kicked off the whole team thing. And the reason for this is all these people like, hey, I like the Flash and I like Green Lantern, but I only have enough money for one. And so these books were created so you could kind of put your money into that and get all your favorite characters.
I thought you were going to be bringing up comics that people would care about.
You shut your mouth. That's the JSA, man.
All right, here's my next one. Spawn and Batman. Technically, this is an indie book. I mean,
yeah, it was. Image Comics, and this was so perfect. Todd McFarlane kind of made a name for himself working on comics like Spider-Man and Batman, and then broke off to do Spawn. And this was one of the greatest things to ever come out of the 90s.
See, I'm surprised that you're not coming out with anything good so far.
We talked about this the last time we came up with a list, but here's the Flash of Two Worlds. Okay, it was the first time a golden age and a silver age came together in unity.
So, what does that matter?
You know what?
All right, here we go. Here's my next pick. Secret Wars. Now, this is the 84 Secret Wars, the 1984 Secret Wars. So, this is more important because it is both ridiculous and important. You know what I mean? Like, you can't make a comparison between this and anything that DC has ever done. Ever.
Secret Wars was good. There was a lot of good stuff that came out of it, but that just kind of, it's another generic event book to me.
How dare you? All right, let's see what you would follow this up with then.
All right, the very first time Marvel and DC crossed over, very first time, it had nothing to do with superheroes. It came out, let me see, I have my notes, in 1975.
Okay.
And it was The Wizard of Oz. Now, the reason for this was Marvel and DC were all working on their own separate Wizard of Oz projects, and they decided to combine it in order to avoid competition and keep the focus more on L. Frank Bunham's story.
Yeah, but dude, they just made that because they were sad. Everybody was sad.
I love the fact that they actually decided to step away from the rivalry in order to honor the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like that in my opinion is really cool.
Yeah, and see, I believe that the crossover events were better when they didn't have anything to do with that book. So my next is going to be Infinity Gauntlet. Why? Because it was a great crossover event, first of all, Matt. And second of all, because they made like 65 different movies off of this book. You know what I mean? And you say what you will, but it was pretty good.
Yeah. It was not my favorite. Not my favorite, really.
What? All right. Come on. So give me another one then. Because I'm bringing folks good comics.
Oh! We got Batman versus the Hulk. Now everybody wanted to see this. Came out in fall of 1981. It's come on.
Okay, I feel like you got a good one in here. Thank you. Finally, finally giving the people what they deserve. You know what I mean?
Oh boy.
Jeez, yeah. This was actually pretty cool. Like, even now, it's still one of those storylines where people are like, wait a minute, what do you mean they fought? You know, I will say that it's a little unrealistic, but we'll let them have it. We'll let them have
it. All right, what do you got? Wait,
right.
Do we got chat?
We'll get to chat right as we go through this thing, though. We're trying to keep this show a little bit shorter, and so that means we got to run through things at 1 billion miles an hour here. But how about this one? Huh? That's right. I brought in a DC book.
Okay.
What you gonna do?
Okay.
What you gonna do? So here's the thing that's cool about Blackest Night, okay? Is that Green Lanterns were like spreading death and chaos, and I'm a big fan of this idea. So, I mean, really, that's it. That's really the only thing that was really amazing here. I mean, I know you're going to talk about how the Lantern Corps and all that kind of stuff is what's really important. But let's be honest.
I actually have personal grief with this particular story.
Oh, of course you do.
And
Of course you do.
it's 100% to do with just me versus the editorial director of DC. Yep. that's
Oh, come on. Come on.
And I cannot tell that story. But I will say, back in the 90s, we had one of the coolest, absolute coolest Batman comics. Actually, there were two. Ready?
Okay.
Here's the first one.
Batman vs. Punisher was that's cheap. You can't include that in this. Because that's still just a Punisher comic. It just happens to have Batman in it.
Yeah, both of them were awesome. It was Punisher at his best and Batman just trying to like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Did you just say that was Punisher at his best? Matt, have you even read Punisher comics?
I have, yes.
No. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to bring you Punisher at his best. Cosmic Ghost Rider. This is Punisher at his best. And you might argue that this isn't a crossover, but it could be. Kind of.
Okay, if you squint hard enough, I could see it as a crossover because it's kind of Ghost Rider. But no. I'm going to say it's not a crossover. Get it off the list. Take it off.
Because it's still got a baby Thanos. You know what I mean? So, what? I think it should count. I think you should find that. You know, I'm gonna bring the rain on you at this point. What else you got?
Okay. March through June of 1996. People were all the comic book stores were given a poll that the customers had to fill out, where you got to decide, like, hey, if Batman were to fight Captain America, who would win? And everybody thought, like, yeah, this isn't leading to anything, but we still filled it out as comic book fans, like kind of fanboying and dreaming, you know? And they did it. We had Marvel versus DC. And you, as the reader, got to decide who actually won the fights. So here's issue 1, 2, 3.
I think based on the options, it should have just been Lobo just winning everything in the first 3 pages.
Oh, I got to say that Lobo versus Wolverine fight, it was mostly off panel, but it was probably the best fight ever. They start, talking crap in a bar, and they end up getting flipped behind the bar, and you see just kind of chaos, and then it's Wolverine who stands up and lights up a cigar. It was awesome.
All right, I got one for you then. Secret Wars. This is the 2015 version. This is where it's like,
that was such a crap story.
What?
That was just nothing but a cash grab. That Secret Wars was nothing but a cash grab.
Seriously.
There was no originality to it whatsoever.
No way. No way.
Yeah. Dude, that was horrible. It was horrible.
You're wrong. I loved it. I love the idea that, like, all of the different universe elements from different timelines merged together, made everything make sense. I liked it.
Yeah, but then you had Emperor Doom, and just Reed Richards became a bad guy. Everything was just
right.
So no,
yeah, I could
wasn't one of my favorites. I didn't care for the story. That doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad story. It's just it wasn't for me. I will say that.
All right. Well, I included in this list not because it would be something you'd like, but because most people would.
Oh, shots fired.
All right. What's your next one? What else do you got?
Okay. So back in 1984, I got to kind of set up the premise to this. Back in 1984, Marvel and DC teamed up to do Teen Titans versus X-Men. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a huge success that they actually signed a deal that essentially if Marvel Comics was to do a DC comic kind of crossover thing, if Marvel was to produce it, DC got to distribute it and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Avengers versus JLA was announced, and the day that it was supposed to be released, it was announced that it was scrapped. Because the editors basically couldn't decide on anything. They couldn't agree on anything. So,
yeah,
flash forward.
Nobody wanted to see JLA just get the asses whooped by the Punisher.
Flash forward to 2003. Joe Quesada over at Marvel was like, "Hey, everybody, if you have an ongoing story, wrap it up." So it was a company-wide mandate. So George Perez was like, "Hey, we had this one from 1984 that nothing ever came of it." So Joe Quesada, in his infinite wisdom, said, "Finish it." George Perez took a year and a half to pencil these 4 issues. And what we have is absolute comic gold. It was that whole series was so good.
But I would argue something that I'm going to throw this one out as my last recommendation here, because I think that this whole series, this whole run, is probably the single most important crossover event in night. One of the most important comic events of all time. Okay. And it's going to be Scooby-Doo. Now, the reason I'm going to say this, now I'm being serious. Now, here's what's cool about this.
I love it.
Every volume of this is a different crossover. You know what I mean? And I chose volume 4 as the pinnacle here just because it's hilarious to have, the old school Harley Quinn chasing around Scooby-Doo. But this definitely shows why sometimes crossovers are just crossovers. Now, I did really want to add in the Ash versus so and so.
Oh yeah.
Especially Ash versus Obama. That was a great crossover. But I feel like that wasn't directly related to comics, and that probably wouldn't count.
I gotta say that those old Scooby-Doos. Did you watch those the meets growing up? So Scooby-Doo meets Batman and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, they were great.
That was my childhood right there, man. So you bringing that one up, I gotta say, it brought me back.
Brilliant. I don't know why everybody doesn't like it. Now, there are other books like The Goon and Hellboy. This was a really cool one just because Mike Mignola is king of the world and everything, and that's all that he cares about. But yeah, we didn't include most of those in our list just because you could technically go on forever. The other thing that we didn't really cover a whole lot is indie books. Now, I'm bringing those up because in the comments, I think one of the first comments on the stream was from Starcross Comics, who says, the best is our crossover series, Biblical Proportions, from
Biblical Proportions, Comics,
featuring 30 different comic creators from multiple companies. So the reason we didn't include a lot of these indie comics isn't because we don't think they're important or anything like that, but because as soon as you start looking at indie comics and crossovers, the amount of options goes from maybe 20 to 30 ones that people have heard about or thought about to thousands of them. And we didn't want to start getting into that because then you gotta go through Ten's Muse and all the different
Mm-hmm.
crossovers there. I mean, there's so many. It's insane. But these are all super super fun to find and go through. And
I gotta say, anything with corn dog. Dude.
yeah, if you have corn dog, it's gonna be cool, guys. I mean,
when are we gonna get the corn dog versus Batman? Just wondering.
That's what we need. That's what we need. Let's see. Over on YouTube, we got D Jackson 531.
Hey,
what's up? Says like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and whatever that is.
Yojimbo.
Usagi Yojimbo. That sounds like something that like a Cajun dude would scream out at.
Dude, it's the rabbit.
I haven't.
It's the ninja rabbit.
I've never seen that.
Oh.
He also brings up Predator hunts all universes. Yes, and that's what's cool about all of the crossovers. Nobody's losing over on Twitch says hello. How you doing this fine Monday? Very good.
Always good. How you doing?
Very good. Jackson over on YouTube says the most dark and bloody crossover possible. We had somebody over on Facebook say, "Hey guys, hey, what's up?" Keep in mind that if you
guys
on a Facebook group or on like say my or Matt's personal Facebook, it won't actually show your name or your image, and we do that because you have told Facebook you don't want to share your information, and we respect that. So you will just pop up as Facebook user. So if you want us to know who you are, or if you want to be famous and have everybody know who you are, go watch everything on YouTube. Makes it easier. Let's see. DJ says it was just a flash in the pan. Secret Wars cover is giving me a headache. It gives everyone a headache. But wait, which one? The 2015 one? I'm assuming the 2015 one.
The first one was pretty chaotic. The second one, it was pretty busy, but it was still toned down.
Mm-hmm. Nobody's Illusion says, Batman versus the Hulk? Yes. Now, here's what upsets me on Batman versus Hulk. They took the easy way out. You know what I mean? Like,
how so?
Never was Batman close enough for the Hulk to just grab his arm and just, chuck him.
That's because Batman's like, I better not get close enough. He can just grab my arm and chuck me. So,
the Hulk would use Batman as a weapon.
True. But that did come on the heels of Superman and Spider-Man, which shared a continuity. So they both existed together on this world, but both of them thought they were like, each of them was the other bad guy. And I'm like, if they're established characters and they already exist in the same world, there's no way Spider-Man thought that Superman was a bad guy. And, like, come on.
Yeah, I would think the Batman was a bad guy.
No, Superman.
I'm just saying.
Spider-Man thought Superman was a bad guy.
I'm just saying, when it comes down to different comic characters, I could see Batman being presented as the bad guy. Think about it. He beats up on people that have, that have like mental handicaps and stuff, man. That ain't cool. It's 2023,
that's
bro.
Very true.
The Joker just needs some help. Spider-Man's just taking advantage of the situation. That's like taking an MMA person and having him run through like a,
Okay, all right. Moving on.
Not right.
Before he finishes that.
All right. D Jackson over on YouTube says, you seek realism in comics? No.
It depends on the comic.
Yeah, you got to have fun with it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Crypto Comics is the best from Mark May. Hey, thanks, bro.
Hey, what up, Mark? Thank you.
Hey, Mark. Okay, DJ says, but my plans to derail everything.
All right.
You should derail
Hold up. I got to say this. So, what was that? DJ Jackson said that we're seeking realism in comics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to present my last one real quick. Okay?
What?
And this is the most unrealistic crossover in comics ever. But it holds a special place in my heart as one of the dumbest but most awesomest comics ever.
And it is?
Star Trek
Oh my.
meets Green Lantern.
I knew you'd do something like this. That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was so ridiculous. So it's the Kelvin universe, and General Chang from Star Trek 6, played by Christopher Plummer, he happens to be on the Enterprise at the time when they
Yeah.
meet Green Lantern, and everybody gets a ring. By the look on your face, Fry, I'm sensing that you're not amused.
I lost
you know
a
what?
bet and had to read the first book in this series.
And you were like, "This is amazing."
No, dude, I didn't. Like, you want to talk about a cash grab? That's right there.
There was no way that could have been a cash grab, because I doubt it sold at all. But it was still
It did.
so
I think
ridiculous.
they sold hundreds of thousands of copies and sent them to Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, that is just harsh.
Nobody's Losing on Twitch says, "Oh, I read Blackest Night and Brightest Day. Yeah, Nobody's Illusion rules." Let's see here. D Jackson says, "Okay, even I heard about Blackest Night, and I'm not much of a comics guy." Yeah, see, that one was pretty big and pretty damn good, really.
It was. I got to give Jeff Johns credit. It was actually pretty good. I enjoyed reading it, but I was grumpy the whole time I was reading it. But
I was too, but it was because it was a Lantern book. I didn't want to admit that I was enjoying myself. You know what I mean? It was like a gothic person at Disneyland. That's the way I felt. You're not supposed to be having fun, but secretly you're like, okay, let's go check out all the Star Wars stuff. You know what I mean? All right. Nobody's just says, "How have I never heard of Batman versus Punisher?" I don't know. I blame your parents.
Well, I've hoped you've at least heard of the Batman and Spawn.
Yeah, I think that one was kind of a given. We almost had to include it just because people would have thought we weren't paying attention to anything if we didn't. Let's see. My whole neighborhood is listening to y'all as I grill burgers.
Okay. So why can't the YouTube algorithm pick up that an entire neighborhood is listening to us? That should count.
Again, because it's in Guantanamo Bay. Okay, hold on. This is an important question. Let me get into this. DJ says, "Is that baby Thanos a top Ghost Rider?" So yes, and that's what makes this so brilliant. Is that, first of all, no, hold on, Matt. The people want to know. Okay, so what you have, and I'm going to summarize this quite a bit, is the Punisher realizes that he can be even more powerful if he gets, powers from Galactus. So, of course he does. You know what I mean? Because he's the Punisher. So, what he does is you take the Punisher and turn them into Ghost Rider. So, he's got, the power of Galactus at that point, which is great because now Ghost Rider and the Punisher are the same dude put together. It's awesome. He's got all these superpowers, but there's a downside because Ghost Rider cannot hurt anyone that doesn't deserve it. That's important. You got to remember that. Okay. So then he gets the power of Galactus and his name becomes Cosmic Ghost Rider. He becomes Thanos' right-hand man. And then he decides, you know what? I got to kill Thanos. But the only way for him to kill Thanos is to go back in time and destroy baby Thanos. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Is because he is still Ghost Rider as well as Punisher, he can't kill a baby because it's a baby. The baby hasn't done anything wrong. So he decides he's just going to strap baby Thanos to his chest and just roll around time, retraining baby Thanos to be a good guy. But alas, he can't do it. In fact, he becomes the reason that Thanos is Thanos. And it makes perfect sense. Totally. There is nothing obscure or weird or it doesn't make you question everything in all of Marvel history. It's totally good.
So basically what they did was they took 3 different things and they were like, I don't think these go together. And then they put it in a bowl, stirred it up, and were like, no, it doesn't go together. Print it anyway. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so great. It's so wonderful. Did you read Cosmic Ghost Rider? Was it Cosmic Ghost Rider Ruins Marvel History? You heard
I
that?
started to, and
Something like
then
that.
like I got onto like page 3 or something like that, and I was like, I can't
It's
anymore. I
so
just can't
great,
do it.
dude. Like Cosmic Ghost Rider ends up being the one that kills Uncle Ben from Spider-Man on accident because he was trying to change a diaper, if I remember right. It's so wonderful.
See, that's
It's great. It's great. Anyhow, moving on. Nobody's just says, "Oh, now Marvel versus DC." I've heard of. Everybody has. That's not as fun
you
as
know what?
Archie
It
versus.
was fun. It was fun because it was it. You used to sit around and like with all your buddies at the comic book store and be like, yeah, who would actually win in a fight, Hulk or Thor or
Mhm.
Storm versus Wonder Woman, and you would debate this stuff, and then we finally got a comic that showed what we had been hoping for decades. Now, uh, the artists were told to draw different outcomes for every single fight, depending on who was actually voted as the
Mhm.
winner. So I want to see those pages where the other people lost.
Mm. You know what? You guys want to see Matt's brain explode live on screen? Hey, Matt, who would win? Flash or Superman in a
In a
race?
what, a foot race?
In a race.
Flash? That's already been established. It was the Flash.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You
Flash
brought it.
had stated that he
You
was
brought up
always holding
Superman.
back in the foot races,
Who
so
would
that
win?
way.
Who would
Now,
win?
if it was in a knockdown fight, who would win? Superman versus Flash. Flash
Wrong.
would be dust.
Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Nope. No.
100%. Dude, he's got the power of Galactus. Superman couldn't take on Galactus. Superman couldn't even
Oh.
come close to taking on Galactus. Bro, you put those two against each other, and it would be like a UFC fighter going up against like a latchkey kid. It just wouldn't even be fair. It would be awful. Jackson comes in over on YouTube saying, "Hell, a long list here." Didn't realize they had done this many crossovers. There's so many crossovers, dude. It's like anytime somebody's
We didn't even show half of the ones that are out there, like the Amalgam universe.
Matt's facepalm, priceless. Okay, so here's what I want to know, and this one is going to be more inclusive of chat here. I want to know what crossovers people would want to see done now, and this includes any type of indie runs, anything like that. The reason I ask is that it might be like what we're talking about, Superman versus Cosmic Ghost Rider. It might be something that hasn't been done like that. It might be something that's already been done, but they would like to see it, I guess, rehashed. You know what I mean? And my question for chat is, why do all of your answers come down to Star Wars characters? Okay, what's yours, Matt? What would you want to see?
What's mine?
Yeah.
My ultimate, okay. As far as indie,
Mm-hmm. Or anyone. I'm just saying you can include indie in this.
Okay, not indie. I would honestly love to see like a Green Lantern Corps versus Nova Corps. I think that could be done. Yeah, pretty well. I mean, I want to see it like a bloody comic, not just a lighthearted like that Star Trek and Green Lantern. I want to see like the action in it. Trying to think of what I would want to see as far as indie goes because there's so many good ones. Okay, I got one. Oh, why am I forgetting the name? We're always bringing it up when we're talking about Jared and the whole conspiracy theory.
Oh, we're not allowed to talk about not safe for work comics during live stream.
No, not those ones that were making fun of Jared. The conspiracy theory ones.
Department of Truth.
Yes, thank you. I want to see Department of Truth meets uh, Lady Death. I would like to see it like do kind of an undercover, like, whoa, wait a second, this stuff's real. You know, I would love to see that.
See, I would want to see a crossover of the villains from major platforms take on the villains from indie comics and have an ongoing run where each book is essentially set up as a different episode. So like
So keep the heroes out of it.
no, heroes would be a part of things. You know
Okay.
what I mean? But it would be more of like a universe from a comic taking on a villain from anywhere else. You know, so like I would want to see like Temerity and the good characters and the bad characters from Temerity go up against Vader from Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like where
Mhm.
it's like two somewhat similar idea sets, but
Okay.
totally different rhythms, you know, as far as things go. Like I think it'd be fun to read like Out of Order, you know, indie comic that's about like a guy, you know, dealing with some mental issues and stuff like that going on. I would like to see that happen, but then have him realize that it's like Freddy Krueger is the bad guy. And like I just think it'd be fun.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That one I gotta disagree with you on.
You can
Just
disagree all you
because
want because I'm
well,
usually
no,
right
out of
with
order
stupid
is somebody's real story of dealing with mental disability. And so to say like to throw Freddy Krueger in the mix, I think would be kind of
But
insulting.
no, but bro, his real story is about how his imagination was so active that he believed in things that weren't really happening. So, who's to say it wouldn't be Freddy Krueger or wouldn't be Darth Vader or wouldn't be a million other things?
Well, in that
In the
case,
case of
I don't. How could you do that in a way that's still respectful?
because in out of order, I think it's not like disrespectful for, you know, the things that he thought of. What the way I see it is it makes it even more intense that his mind was so creative that he was able to come up with these, I mean, frankly, horrendous, you know, thoughts and ideas, and he believed that they were true, you know, and to him, they were, you know. I mean, again, you guys will have to read the book. If you haven't read Out of Order, fantastic book, and you'll get what we're talking about here. Um, gosh, such a good book.
It really is. It's one of the few comics that actually made me cry.
Mm-hmm.
By
You know
few,
what?
I mean I think it's what 5 issues that made me cry total, and it's issue 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's it.
I want to see XCT versus Corn Dog. Yeah, that one's ridiculous, and that one's disrespectful in all of the best ways. I want to see that one. You know what I mean? You know what? I feel like
Mm-hmm.
now we're doing like the Fight Club thing, where it's like, if you could fight anyone, who would it be? And he's like, you know what I mean? I'd fight Abe Lincoln. Let's see here. Nobuzu says, I agree. Out of Order was so good. Oh, I'm glad you read it. That's awesome. Speaking of which, Out of Order is coming out with a graphic novel. Very cool. So you can read the whole story.
That'll be cool.
Jack says, Mother Talzan of Star Wars takes on Koi the Sorcerer from Children of Elder. Damn. Okay, take everything away that I said. I want that one. Damn, that's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. What if Children of Elder is really just about the Force? And we just never thought about it.
That could be kind of cool.
Somebody call Gemma. Somebody call Gemma Young right now and find I'm a messenger. I'm like, all right, hear me out. Is Children of Eldera about the Force? She probably tase me. Ooh, that is a good one.
Okay, this one's still kind of indie. Walking Dead meets round. Not saying like verses or anything like that, but meets kind of just smashes together both Rays and Roundhouse Hooligans into one story.
Ooh, that would be cool because I could see all the characters from Hooligans dropped right in the middle of those other worlds.
Oh yeah,
that would be cool. I'm gonna get a hold of Lucas. This is something that needs to happen. I feel like maybe this is what publishers do. They're just like, how cool would it be if we got 10th Muse to, fight Dragon Ball Z?
or Katango mixed with the just kind of meeting up with the Norse gods from Marvel. So you got Indy and you got the main. I think that would be kind of cool because you have the African and the Norse. So
what if we just had Corn Dog versus everything, and it was just like
versus Deadpool,
a weekly run where every week they come out with a new comic where it's Corn Dog versus some other character, and it just continuously runs forever because none of them are going to be.
Would be epic.
And you go into it knowing that next week Corn Dog's going to be fighting somebody else, but you would buy the book just to find out how Corn Dog is going to win every week.
How is Corn Dog going to fight Batman?
Yeah, I'd buy it.
I would totally buy that. That would be so epic.
Dude, it would.
And every list that we do from now on, it doesn't matter what the list is. It could be like my top 5 favorite margaritas. Corn Dog's in there somehow.
Yeah. Dude, what if you did Corn Dog versus Evil Eddie? Be like the ultimate good versus bad. Anti-hero versus anti-hero. No illusion found a badge. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, let's see. Rogue Squadron from the old Legacy comics against Battlestar Squadron led by Starbuck. That could be cool. You know what though? If you do that, you have to push the envelope here and also include Star Fox. You remember that? The old Star Fox video game that they made into like terrible. You know what? We should do a show on comics that were only existing because of marketing. Star Fox would be at the top of that list. They made that comic for like 4 or 5 years. I don't know anybody that read it. That and what was that fighting game? Killer Instinct.
Yeah. What was the other one? Was it Turok or something like that?
I have so many copies of Turok. That's what we should do a show about that. About like weird comics that were only existed because it was just a commercial to get comic nerds to buy a video game. Dude, there were so many of them.
Oh yeah.
God, Turok could have been on this list though, because that was absolutely a crossover. They tried to cross over Turok with everything, and none of them were great. Let's see. Wait, hilarious? I was being serious. I ended up with Star Fox Comics by accident because I was getting Nintendo. See? That was a good marketing campaign, though, when you think back on it.
Yeah, it was.
Halo? They did Halo comics. I'm thinking about
that.
Dude,
I was at a garage sale the other day, and they had a ton of those old Nintendo Power magazines.
Do people still collect those? Somebody's got to collect them.
This one guy did. But he had a whole bunch of stuff that I was like, I'm going to... I was pretty upset at him over his comic book collection.
Oh, see, DJX says they still do Halo. I haven't seen one in a while. They don't have them at my local shop, but that doesn't surprise me. I mean, that's a big IP. They do Call of Duty comics. I know that. Mm-hmm. And I personally haven't read any of them, but I've heard that they're pretty dang good. So could be interesting. I don't know.
Mm,
Let's see here.
this next
Master
comment, yeah.
Chief and his team versus the Avengers would be interesting. It would actually, but wouldn't Iron Man just be like a souped-up Master Chief? Would you give like Master Chief?
Yeah, but they have more actual training.
But what wins in that situation? Training or having like heat-seeking missiles that come out of your shoulder blades? I mean,
Mm,
then at that point it comes down to the Batman argument. You can't beat Batman because it's too easy to write a ridiculous toy that comes out of a belt. You know what I mean?
that was back in the 60s, man. Come on.
But it still matters.
All comics back in the
Falling to his death,
60s were
and then suddenly wait a
pretty.
minute.
Whew.
You know what I mean? He could throw a batarang and save himself, or a little, glider pops out. I remember that in one book. Or
they actually revisited that in this one comic where Batman is traveling the multiverse trying to kill like the ultimate Joker, basically, who's able to travel the multiverse and stuff. And he ends up in the animated series. He ends up in the Arkham series, stuff like that. And at one point in time, he's getting attacked. Well, he goes to the 1960s Adam West series, and he had lost his utility belt, so Adam West gives him his. And then he's traveling to like the end of the universe where all that's left is like a weird Gotham City kind of floating in space. And then there's this shark that's a Joker, and it's flying at him. And he looks at his belt. He pulls out a bat shark repellent, and he looks at it. He's like, "Are you kidding me?" And he sprays the shark and saves the day. But I was like,
makes sense to me, dude.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm wondering: Does the Master Chief comics or the Halo comics? I'm not sure if it's like specific to Master Chief storyline or what was it like John? I feel like I'm going to get this wrong, but I want to say it's like John 141. Is that right? I think that's the name of Master Chief. Like that's like the actual Master Chief that you play in some of the games. But there's other ones. It's been a long time since I played a Halo game. But does it include Red versus Blue? Because I want to see Caboose in a comic. Caboose was like one of the greatest like fan fiction things that's out there. That's what I want to see. I want to see fan fiction books where they go against.
Yeah.
That could be cool. Like Wayward Astronomer versus, the actual Dream Keepers. Like all of them, all the characters.
Okay. Here's one for you that I would love to actually see.
What?
An aged up Brightburn versus Superman.
Ooh, that would be good. But is that still a crossover when it's like direct storylines and influence?
But technically,
I'll accept it.
I'll go with it.
I want to see it. Yeah, that could be pretty sweet. Oh man, see, now we're just running on ideas here.
Oh,
see, D Jackson.
But how much better would the world be with all these comics in it?
Caboose would win almost any fight, always by accident. Yes, Caboose is so great. If you guys don't know, there was an old fan fiction like animation, I guess is the best way of putting it, that this group of friends got together and they would record themselves playing Halo, and they would move the characters around as they were playing multiplayer games and then dub over it with their audio to make it seem like almost like a TV show where all the actors were different characters from Halo, from the video game. And it's hilarious because there is a character named Caboose that is a moron and lovable in all the best ways. Let's see. Ooh, can we watch Adam Eve annihilate the Green Lantern Corps, please? I say yes. I say if If at any time we're given an opportunity to watch Green Lantern Corps go down, I say we print it. Firm believer that the world would be a better place for that. What do you think? What do you think, Matt?
You know, someday when I'm rich, I'm gonna show up to your house with all these like Green Lantern comics. You know, the milestones. And be like, here you go, Fry. These are yours.
That'd be sweet. That would be awesome. You know, because we could go together and we could donate them to people. You know, that's a great first comic for anybody to get because it sets the bar low, and it makes sure that they're gonna appreciate all the second comics that they've ever gotten.
So harsh.
Green Lantern is good. Me and Matt just like to have fun. I know somebody once was like, I forget who. I think it was Chad actually was like, dude, you really hate a lot of DC comics, don't you? And I'm like, no, it's just like a thing we do. We just have fun with it.
That was when we were going to Denver.
Yep, to Mile High. Yeah, because he had caught that. He had caught that, and he was like, "God, Fry really dislikes DC Comics." I'm like, "No, it's just a joke. You know, we just play it up. We have fun with it." I mean,
he likes to make fun of it because I really enjoy. I like DC Comics. To me, they're the more Cadillac of comic books.
Mm-hmm. And I dislike it because, like Cadillacs, they're always broke down.
Lately, it's really hard to disagree with that. I got to admit.
So, we are going to be changing up the format of this show a little bit. Just let everybody know. We are going to have more guests on the show, have more relevant topics. We're going to start talking about a lot more like current events and stuff like that when it comes to comics, publishing, technology, all that kind of stuff. Of course, blockchain because we are Crypto Comics. But we are super interested in any of the topics that you guys want to see. We noticed that like a lot of the topics that we've covered previously tend to get a lot more views, a lot more interest. Things like AI, things like new tools for creators to use, artists, things like that, new programs, that kind of stuff. And one of the other things that we're looking at doing is bringing back Studio because I'm making Matt bring it back because I like that show.
All right, I'm on it.
So yeah, if you guys have any ideas, make sure you throw them in chat on this video.
Yes, I'd love to actually hear your guys' ideas. We've been kind of jotting down some ideas that we've had, and I would love to show like some of the old technology, how they used to do things like way back in the day, and how they do it now. So any topic you guys can think of.
D Jackson says, ask Gemma about AI as a tool. So we might have already done that. Did that episode get edited and published? The studio episode with Gemma?
I think so.
Yeah, so we've actually got a studio episode up on I want to say it's up on YouTube. If it's not, we'll get that edited and put out. We've been slacking a bit on that, and we'll get them out there. But Gemma has a lot of cool stuff to say about that. Like, very cool. I believe that what we're going to be doing is, right now, it looks like we're going to have Dan Cote on next week, and we'll be talking to him about AI, and using it as a tool as well. But what's neat is that Dan and Gemma very much have a similar mindset, I'm going to say, where AI can be used as an element in their art and not so much as a how to make art faster kind of a thing. So yeah, and DJX says I read her article about it and it was neat. She had a crazy good write-up on AI. Did you read that, by the way, Matt? I
didn't
actually. Social media, it was pretty cool. Yeah, if everybody's wondering who we're talking about is Gemma M. Young. And did she post it to Webtoons or her blog? I can't remember exactly where she posted it. It might have been her blog. But I found it via her Discord. But she did a really cool write-up on it. Yeah, Jackson's 100% accurate. So yeah, that being said, we're going to be doing some more things. So if you guys have ideas for what you want to see, what you want to do, how you want to party, how you want to get down, how you want to boogie, what type of creators you want to see on the show, who you want to see, who you want to see less of, you want to see less of Matt, do you? Feel free. You can put it in the chat. It'll only hurt his feelings a little bit. You want to see less of me? Put it in the chat. It'll hurt my feelings a lot. Please don't hurt my feelings. That why did you go to nothing? That made it weird. All right, y'all. That being said, we love y'all. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you guys and your 45 minutes of time or your 57 minutes. We're gonna get tased.
Yeah, we are.
All right. Thank you guys. Make sure you share. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you send flowers. Okay.
Or tacos.
Or tacos. And yesterday was Mother's Day. So if you can, go tell your mom that we love her. Because we do. They made you guys. And you're awesome. Did you have anything to add, Matt?
Send tacos.
And tacos. We were told that we couldn't do a show about tacos. Can you guys believe that? That they would try to censor us if we tried to do a show that was entirely about tacos? You guys really think you can censor us and our love for tacos? You'll never get past our love for tacos. You'll never take us away from tacos. What about Spider-Man versus Mario? That probably wouldn't work.
I'm thinking Assassin's Creed versus the Walt Disney characters.
All of them?
All of them. Mickey Mouse, like that whole Kingdom Hearts thing, and you have like Ezio show up.
Dude, my money's on Goofy. Goofy's hiding some terrible secrets. You can tell just by looking at him.
There's a reason he's sad. He's seen too much.
Oh, it's been such a hard life.